Hello and welcome to this brief demonstration video explaining Section 5 Resources section for the 1718 Southwestern College Action Step form. In this section you'll be asked to list all of the necessary resources, whether they're new resources or augmentations to existing resources, that will support the completion of your action step. Before we begin, it's important to note that not all action steps will require additional resources, and the resource requests you make should be made in consultation with your supervisor, your dean, or your director prior to completing your action step. So let's begin. When you reach Section 5 of the action step form, you'll be prompted to indicate whether new or augmentation to existing resources is necessary. You may choose no. If you choose no and then click Next, you'll be redirected to a confirmation page, which will then prompt you to complete your action step. Remember that the form that we use is created to submit one action step at a time. So all of the resources that you would recommend for your action step are individual to that action step. However, in most cases, you're going to find that you will be requesting new resources. We'll go back to the previous page, back to our prompt window asking whether we need resources or not. And I'm going to change my reply to yes. Then click Next. And this will prompt a different field or a different series of questions for you to reply to. Notice under the section heading, you'll see links that are available to you to the rubrics that are used by the different committees that will prioritize resource requests during our annual budget development and prioritization process. Clicking on each of these hyperlinks will open up the rubric that these committees use to determine priorities for all of the different resource needs that we have across all the different units and academic programs on campus. As you move into the body of the resource request, you'll be asked to categorize where the resource request falls, and the definitions for each of these categories are provided for you. You'll be asked to provide a short name for your resource request, maybe 4 or 5 words at the most, and that name will be used to track the resource request as it enters into our budget development and resource prioritization process. A contact is necessary, as is a rationale for why this resource is needed in order for you to complete your action step. You can be as detailed as you like here, and it's recommended that you use data and other persuasive information to make the case for why this resource request is crucial to this specific action step. Please be specific and comprehensive. Moving down into the fields below, you have several drop-down menus where you're asked to choose whether the resource you're requesting is an instructional or non-instructional item with a definition below to help you. There is the need to know if it's an ongoing or one-time expense for budget planning purposes. And then we have a cost field that is optional. If you can estimate the cost associated with this item, please include that information. If that information is not available, you can leave this section blank or type not available. When you reach the end of the first resource request, you may choose to add an additional resource request, at which point you'll repeat the process for the second resource request. You may request up to 10 resources for every action step that you submit. At the end of your resource request, choose No from the action step drop-down menu, then click Next. Prior to clicking Next, it's important to read the information carefully regarding your next step. When you've completed adding all of the resource requests you believe you'll need to complete your action step, you're now ready to submit your action step. The process for submitting an action step is covered in a separate video. This concludes this brief demonstration of Section 5 Resources of the 1718 Southwestern College Action Step form.